Hello there, this is Retro Spirits Guide presenting Capcom Generation 5. This is on the Sega Saturn. This is the Sega Saturn dashboard with its Saturn rings flying around its Saturn logo. Start application, now let's crack on. Sega the licensee or something, I don't know what that said, something about under license. This is Capcom's QB logo, cruelly cut short by a man who wants to get on with playing some games. So what we have here is a collection of Street Fighter 2 games. It is the original Street Fighter 2, as you would have seen it in the arcade, Street Fighter 2 Champion Edition, and Street Fighter 2 Turbo. Let's play original Street Fighter 2. And here we have some artwork. Look at Blanka's face. Look at his mangled, pudgy face. And Ryu's incredibly long forearm. Yeah, this is the original Street Fighter 2. It's groovy. I remember exactly the time and place and where I was and where that the first time I ever saw this arcade machine. I could take you to the exact spot I saw it. The arcade machine is not there anymore, but to this day I remember where I saw this game, and I fell in love instantly with its beautiful curves and dangerous combat, crazy cast of characters, and slightly tinny sound. This is Street Fighter 2, people, as you would remember it. Superior in looks to the SNES version, and yeah, it's very cool. It's Street Fighter 2. You can get, obviously, all of the Capcom generations on the PlayStation 2, PlayStation 1. Don't know if the PlayStation 1 version is as good as this, or as accurate as this. I'm sure it is. But the Saturn version, yeah, it's pretty damn sweet. It's a bit of a combo there, just see that. Don't usually pick Blanka, don't know why. In this version of Street Fighter 2, Blanka, if you manage to hit him whilst he's doing his cannonball roll, will lose a lot of energy. Here's Guile, his crazy hairdo. These portraits did improve in subsequent games. They are pretty hideous in this version of the game. Guile's double kick, yeah, beautiful. This background used to blow people's minds down the local arcade. It was like sort of digitized. Is that an F16? Digitized F16 in the background. It's like, oh, graphics that realistic cannot be possible. And wow, I beg to differ. Blanka is a bit of a he's a bit of a brute, isn't he? He's a bit brutal in this. He is smashing Guile's face in. Look at the blood from the schnoz. Yeah, there's just some very dodgy character portraits in this game, like this one. E Honda has a very tiny arm. That's always worried me. If you were to extrapolate that picture out, his arms, his massive body, his arms would be tiny little things, just like little appendages just floating up in midair. Blanka is absolutely destroying the opposition here. Yeah, he's his bicep is tiny in that image. They didn't fix that either for the Champion Edition. It was very similar in that. This disc, like I said, only contains the 3 games. Doesn't contain the Turbo, Street Fighter Turbo. You can get that in the Street Fighter collection. It's just the 3 original releases of this game. I checked on the old auction websites and some other importers, and it seems this game has gone ridiculously high priced. I bought this game for 15 quid back in the day. I've not had it for that many years. Look at his little bicep, little tiny bicep. He's either got a massive head or a tiny arm. 15 quid with the registration card, which is fine. Smashing up someone's car here, very irresponsible. Don't go parking your car on any sort of dockside in this game, otherwise I will smash into bits. Looking on eBay, I digress, it's between 70 and 150 quid depending on condition, which is ridiculous. I don't know why this game is so valuable. I'm not sure why it's gone up so much in price. It's not like you can't get Street Fighter 2 on any other format. So whether that's just scalpers or gougers or just ne'er-do-wells trying to overcharge for a common game, I don't know. The artwork, promotional artwork for the original Street Fighter 2 is horrific. I mean, look at Ryu's arm there. Look at his forearm. I don't know if they're trying to put perspective on that, but it's just rough, man. Yeah, I don't know if that's an accurate reflection of his actual value, but that's the kind of money it's going for, unfortunately. PlayStation version is much cheaper. There's Champion Edition box art there for the Mega Drive. It's kind of a bit better, but it's still a bit knobby. Capcom's early artwork for Street Fighter 2 was not good. You remember it being better than it actually is, let's put it that way. Are we going to see... I wonder if we're going to see E Honda in this, and see his tiny little arm. Ken's eyebrows don't match his hair. Interesting factoid. Well, not really a fact, just observation. This is the first game where you can pit the same character against each other and then play the bosses, isn't it? Some nice colour choices on this, actually, for the backgrounds. Not as good as Hyper Fighting, though, in most people's minds. Hyper Fighting's got the speed controls, hasn't it? But anyway, it's always nice to fight your doppelganger down the docks in front of a crowd of... Well, it's a mixed crowd there. You seem to have some Russian oligarchs. You've got Dick Tracy. You've got a schoolgirl and a beat poet from the 1950s, stroke 60s. So a mixed crowd, but they've all enjoyed the violence, and you can't say further than that. Ken's got a bit of missing pixels on his knuckle there, which I always found a bit odd. Don't know how they missed that one. Chun-Li's super deformed face there. Not the best drawn. Chun-Li gets a fireball in the next game, doesn't she? I don't think she has it in Champion Edition. I'm not a Champion Edition aficionado. This background does not appear to have changed coloration much. But anyway, there's a bit of ultra violence in the street, and there's a man choking a chicken. People cheering with their kid. That's all in order. Well, there's a chicken in the cage there. It's a bit Texas Chainsaw Massacre, isn't it? And they're selling sort of body parts, just brown hanging meat. Could be anything. Never really understood what that guy does in the background there. He's got like a pole and there's a bell on it, and he's ringing the bell. What's that about? It must mean something to somebody. Yeah. Chun-Li's never been that difficult to beat, just continuously do that. There's a definite kind of tactic you can use to beat all the characters in the early versions of Street Fighter 2. The area wasn't that sophisticated. Zangief, you can just kind of just jump on the spot and just hard kick him in the head until he dies. Chun-Li, just make her kind of bounce towards you and do the roundhouse kick. She can't get out of it. It's a bit of a cheap way to play, a bit of a boring way to play against Zangief, but am I going to do it here? Looks like I'm going to do it. There we go. Just keep doing that. Just have to keep doing that, and eventually he will die. This background's a different colour to the original Street Fighter 2. Again, we've got a bunch of just random dudes who like a bit of ultra violence cheering you on. There's a handle there, a giant chain. I always like to try and imagine what would be on the end of that chain. Like an anchor? giant magnet, a cage full of puppies. Don't know. There was some stuff missing from the home versions up until this port. I mean, none of that stuff kind of existed in the SNES or Mega Drive version, did it? But this is entirely as I remember it in the arcade. Oh, he didn't die, but he's dead now. Yeah. So the first time I saw Street Fighter 2 was in Great Yarmouth. Don't know what the arcade was called, but I could take you to the exact spot. I've been back since a couple of years ago, and that arcade has just got 2B pushy machines and those sort of grabby machines in it now. There's no video games in there at all. It's a sad, sad tale. But yeah, rushing back home and telling all my mates about this amazing 2D fighting game I saw, because when this was originally released, I know it doesn't look like much now, but this was such a cut above anything else you'd seen in the arcade to this point. The characters with their idle animations blew my mind. I'm going to fight Dalsim. Dalsim's portrait's alright in this. Don't mind that so much. It's not brilliant, but at least he looks sort of evil. Scary. Anyway, I'm going to play Hyper Fighting now. I wonder if you're going to get to fight E Honda in this, see if they sorted his arm out. Oh, there's a Champion Edition image again. It's unfortunate. Yeah, I don't mind Bison's face there so much. His hands are, or Vega, whatever you want to call him. His hands look a bit rubbish now. Oh, I've gone back to Champion Edition. I want Hyper Fighting. Use your buttons properly, people. Marginally better artwork. Is this game worth 70 to 150 quid? Absolutely not. You can buy Street Fighter Anniversary Collection on any of the new formats, and it's got, I don't know, is it 12 Street Fighter games on there, including the original and this one. Oh, look, use portraits, a bit updated. It's got Hyper Fighting on it, and that you can get that for about 15 quid. So if you must have it on the Saturn, it is a quality conversion. It plays really well. It's nice on the Saturn joypad. It's just super expensive. Super expensive. Whether you want to pay 70 quid for it, it's up to you, I guess. If you're a completist and you want all the Capcom Generations titles, I did see someone selling those on eBay for the total price of about $560. I don't know how much that is in pounds, but I'd have to check the individual prices of those first, because I know for a fact that Capcom 3, Generations 3 on the Saturn can be had brand new for about 30 quid, so I don't know what's going on there. I think that's probably someone just trying their luck. In terms of Hyper Fighting, it's cool. You can operate Zangief's spinning clothesline there with 2 buttons instead of 3, which makes him a little bit easier to use, and that's all well and good. Come on, let's fight E Honda. Yay! They sort of sorted his arm out. His arm still looks fairly short. If you were to trace outside the lines there, you'd still have a kind of a stunted limb. E Honda in this version of the game is pretty badass. He's just all over you. I don't think I'll beat him with Zangief. His throw is ultra powerful, and his 1,000-hand slap sorts the men from the boys, that's for sure. Always like this background, don't know why. Maybe because the kind of bath does a 3D movement as well as the floor. You got the ceiling does a kind of a 3D movement. Not entirely sure why there's a sumo ring in front of the bath, but hey, I don't know anything about sumo wrestling, so maybe that's what they have. This is a different colour scheme to the original as well, isn't it? Anyway, it's good. It's got 3 great games on one disc. It's just super expensive. So I'll leave the decision up to you. But I recommend the games. Not entirely sure about the price tag. And that's me. And looks like E-Honda's hugged me to death there. He loves you so much, it kills you. Ooh, Zangief's head's gone funny. Anyway, I will see you next time. Goodbye, sir.